Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bea, this is Create on the Road, and this is the second video in my planning prepping for 2020 series. And if you haven't seen the first video, I'm gonna link it up above. And so yeah, let's get started. Right, so if you've seen the other video, which I hope you did, you know that I had sort of big goals for 2020, and that quickly they were to write 20 stories, notebook stories, in 2020, up to a complete finish state, and then to write over, or reach 1 million words during the year, which sort of averages to about 83,000 and something words each month. So roughly, counting weekends off and things like that, to about 4,000 to 5,000 words each working day. So that was the main goal, and then I had other goals like continue my freelancing business as a cover designer, and also continue the YouTube channel and expand it a bit into BookTube, and also doing other things like that. So that was the first video. This video, though, is going to be mainly related to planning and prepping for the first quarter, because while I do have these overarching goals for 2020 for the whole year, I do the planning for each quarter, because I think it's much easier and things change quite rapidly. So while I have ideas of things that I want to do in summer or in winter or whatever, I'm actually planning only like sort of on a 3 months basis. I do have sort of longer plans. For example, since I'm planning to release a romance series, I know that like the first book is going to be this month, the second hopefully whatever month, and I have like sort of like 6 books planned at least, so I know that obviously that's going to take more than 3 months. But yeah, let's go into the planning of the first quarter. So last year in 2019, I did write down everything I sort of wanted to accomplish and wanted to do this year, and then I started to divide things that I wanted to do into when I could do them. So obviously there are things that can be done whenever, sort of like I want to, I don't know, pick up a musical instrument or something like that. You could start in May, you can start in March, you can start in September. It doesn't really matter when you start, because there's no like a deadline or anything like that. But there are other things that needs to be done in a sequence. So obviously the first main important thing was my romance series, because I do want to become a full-time self-published author this year. So my main series will be this romance series. And I have the first book in the final editing stages, and I'm planning to release it either at the end of January or at the beginning of February. I have a few things to work out, so I'm not sure exactly on the date, but that's the plan. So obviously that going to be sort of like one of the main goals of January is to actually have it finished and then published. Then I am also starting obviously the second book in the series, because that will be published, tentative timeline will be to publish that in March. So that still falls into the first quarter. I have that, and I also have under a different pen name a series of writing prompts book that I want to publish, and the first one is going to be out in January as well. So I'll have 2 books possibly published in January, and then the second writing prompts book is going to be published in February, and maybe the third will be published in March. I know I'm a bit tentative with those deadlines, but it's because I'm doing these things for the first time. So obviously I am planning a few things, but I want to remain flexible for the following ones, like the following books, so that I can adjust whether the second book in a series takes me longer, or the launch goes a certain way or whatever. So I have here a page that I started, and it's divided in quarters, although there's not much space for the last quarter of the year, because really I don't want to plan anything so far ahead. Although I did leave the space here, because if there's things that come up to me, I can jot them down. But basically what I planned is the first quarter. And the first quarter, I sort of like pinpointed 3 main areas that I wanted to focus on. And one of them was obviously to kickstart my writing career by publishing the books. And then the second one is to grow sort of like socially, and I meant like as in a social media kind of general sense. That includes also YouTube. So this YouTube channel, then I have plans for another YouTube channel, and then the websites, newsletters, social media, all of that. And then the third one is to sort of like stabilize the other freelancing stuff that I do, like a cover designer and other freelance work that I do on the side. So to kind of, put them, have them, grow them, keep them, while I also work on my writing career. So those are the 3 main goals, and under each goal or related to each goal, I have projects that fall under each of those. So for example, for kickstarting my writing career, obviously I have the romance series under my romance pen name, and then I have like the nonfiction writing prompts series under my like fantasy pen name. And you know, I will publish more things under those pen names as well. So those are like different projects that I have. And then under the social media, there's like this YouTube channel, the various websites for the pen names, and all the other stuff. And you know, it's sort of a trickle down, basically. It's a trickle down method to go from the big picture to the sort of big picture, and then kind of like medium picture, and then like the really small nitty gritty things, the actual tasks that one person needs to do to actually accomplish those goals. So I am not using like a planner because I just don't. I rather work with like sheets of paper that I fill out as needed. It's just how I work. So once I've decided what to do with this quarter, so it's going to be January, February, March, I did put down some of the projects that I wanted to work on. So the fantasy pen name, the romance pen name, the videos, websites, covers, freelance work, and other stuff. And underneath those, I wrote everything that I could think of that I need to do. So for the romance pen name, publishing the first book, writing the second book, publishing the second book, all of that. And then I divided those things into what I need to do in January. So I don't know if you can see this, but basically I have, and I did put like check marks or check boxes for most of these, because obviously I want to sort of see where I'm going throughout the month and what I'm accomplishing. And I put everything from editing the first romance novel to publishing the first romance novel, writing the second writing prompts book, doing various videos for the YouTube channel. And then obviously I have also the overarching goals of writing the 83,334 words for January, because that's part of my million words in a year goal. So I have that one, and that comes to sort of like 20,834 words per week. So I have these signed as well with 4 checkboxes for the 4 weeks of January. I'm not counting these first couple of days because I am managing to do like these videos and stuff, but I also have a lot of stuff to do that is not related to work. So these first few days, they're just not going to be counted into my plans. So I have a list of all the tasks that I need to do. Once I have these, I prepared for each week a simple sheet, which is divided. On this side, it has like a blank column where I'm going to put all the days, and each day I'm going to put the things that I need to do, just the actual tasks that I need to do. And I'm going to jot down general tasks here so that I remember, and I can put them in like the week before. I'm going to put them in so that I know that on Monday when I'm starting the week, I know what I need to do, and then I can choose on Monday to do whatever, you know, those 3 things. And I have a little space here for goals, just to remind myself on what goals I want to sort of push during that week, and then a space for notes if I have to like remember something or, you know, whatever else. It's a very simple setup, but I feel that what works for me, because I used to have like a proper sort of like planner thing, but I never really filled it that much. As long as I know like 1 or 2 main things that I need to do for the day, then I'm fine. I don't need to write a lot of things for each day, or I don't even write down like every hour what I'm working on or stuff like that. So it may change during the year, I don't know, but at the moment that is a system that works for me. So I go from the big picture to figuring out what I need to do in these first 3 months, and then out of 3 months, what I need to do the first month, and then out of that first month, I then divide the things that I need to do by each week. There are certain things that I kind of like, I know they're going to be recurring, sort of like making videos for YouTube are going to be about pretty much every week. There are other things that, for example, the editing the romance novel will take place mostly on the first 2 weeks of January, and then obviously I'll go into prepping everything for it and then launching it. And then in the meantime, I will start writing the second novel and stuff like that. So I have, maybe some people need to sort of like plan it more, but at the moment I feel like what I have is enough, because I don't want to pre-plan too much and then have to change everything. especially because many things I am sort of figuring out as I'm doing them, like launching books and how long it takes me to edit something or any of those things. I don't want to lock myself into specific dates or like pre-plan a whole month of tasks and then realize by the second week that I'm already sliding on some tasks and I need to switch them around in the third week or whatever. So that's it really. I mean, it's not a lot of planning, but I guess also because I have been thinking about doing this for quite some time. So in my head, I have pretty clear what are the things that I want to accomplish. So the romance series, like I have ideas for pretty much at least 6 books. I think maybe more now, but at least 6 books. And you know, the first book is pretty much finished and I already have a good brainstorm quite a lot of the second book. Like the ball is already rolling. I'm not starting the 1st of January like with a blank slate. So, and I've already figured out a lot of things and I've done a lot of research on the self-publishing process and how to tackle Amazon and, you know, all those things. Obviously, I will do research and I will figure out more things and whatever as I do them, but I'm not approaching this, as I said, like completely in the dark. So while I don't want to put myself too much out there in case, you know, something happens and I need to change dates or whatever, I do know roughly what I need to do. That's all I'm saying. So I don't need to actually pre-plan too many things. If you've seen some of my previous videos where I talked about my romance novel, you may remember that I did this, which is basically, I think it was like 8 weeks worth of this book only. And that was basically the writing, the editing, the publishing, everything that related to the first book in the romance series that I planned to do was going to be here. As you see, I haven't used it pretty much at all. And underneath I had all the tasks related to the first book, like from, you know, the website, the Amazon page, the author profile, the table of contents, the cover, the editing, the writing, the formatting, everything. I've written all the tasks down, and then pretty much I started doing this in the first week, like keeping count of how much I've written and, you know, what tasks I did, and then I sort of never used it. So I didn't even use something for like 8 weeks. So I'm not gonna plan like a whole planner kind of thing. But I still accomplished the things. That's what I'm trying to say. I still wrote the book. I still started editing it. I was away last week, so obviously that kind of stopped. But I'm planning to finish it basically in the next week, which is going to be like from the 7th to whatever, 10th or whatever. Here in Italy, the 6th of January is actually a holiday. So I probably not gonna work because my partner is gonna be home, so we'll probably do something, which is why I'm not starting on an actual Monday. So yeah. So let me know in the comments, kind of like how you plan for things. If you do plan for like quarter to quarter, how you like to prep the planning stages and how you plan, how you figure out what you need to do, what you want to do. I feel like there's a difference between planning something because you have to do it, like, you know, there's things you need to do, like, I don't know, file taxes or something like that. But when you're like self-employed, basically, and deciding on where to go with a career, like how to build your career, I feel like it can be a bit crippling at the beginning because you think, I could do so many things. What can I do? Maybe this is what kind of stopped me, whether maybe unconsciously stopped me from starting this sooner, because I wanted to be an author for like God knows how long, but I haven't started before. I wasn't planning on this last bit. It kind of caught me as a reflection as I was making this video. So I don't really have an answer, and I'll probably think about it more, and I will make a video about it if I have some sort of revelation about it. But let me know in the comments if you're struggling with maybe deciding what to do, like how to plan for this whole year. And I do think that planning each quarter is much easier, because then you have like only 3 months, and 3 months, it is a long time, but it's not a long time really at all. So you can kind of figure out maybe like, hey, in 3 months I can write 1 book, and then send it to an editor. So maybe you give yourself sort of like a plan of using the first 3 months to write the book and then send it to an editor at the end of March, something like that. Maybe, that could work. Or if you're like me and you're like wanting to do stuff all the time, then you'll plan like, release 15 books in like whatever, 6 months or something. But yeah, let me know in the comments what your plans are, especially for the first quarter if you end up doing this system, and how you're finding the planning going. So that's it. Sorry for the bit of a ramble at the end. I will think about more about sort of planning as a self-employed person, when you can set up your deadlines and your goals especially. And so yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.